Whoop whoop! Welcome back to LHRPG. I'm your host, Nitro, and I am joined by my asshole of a sister
Sup?
and my wonderful nephew.
Hey, why am I the asshole and he's wonderful?
Because he didn't run away like a bitch tonight.
No,
I
he
did.
just lied and said he
I
was
did.
going to.
Hashtag we'll get there.
Hashtag we'll get there.
Before
I'm
we
not
get
gonna lie, I
started,
did say
I want to
that.
give a couple
I know.
I want to give a couple of shout outs. Number one, shout out to Paizo for bringing us the system we ran today.
Surprisingly, not a Dimension 20.
Shout out to once again all the Etsy sellers that are making these awesome products that help our games. And I want to give a shout out to all the real ones that take care of their motherfucking kids. Happy Father's Day. Now, there's two types of dads. There's real ones and there's bitch boys. We're only giving a shout out to the real ones.
I think we got, 3 current LHR fathers? We got you, Strife, and Nexus.
We have more technically, just not.
That's why I'm saying
In the main
current.
I mean, technically, DL has a kid and he's still LHR. He's just not LHRPG.
Yeah.
LHRPG is the channel. LHR is the crew.
In the channel, we've got
Yeah.
you, Nexus, and Strife.
Yeah. So,
Shout out to Strife specifically because he pulled a lot of the weight at the end of this game.
however,
We'll get there.
no spoilers. What'd we play today, guys?
Starfinder.
Hill
Here.
Challenge Revenge, I think it's called.
Yeah, Steel Talon's Revenge. You want to show off the book?
You show off the book, nephew. Get you some of that screen time.
Yeah. Yeah. Starfinder, first edition from Paizo. My wife got me this book and the Alien Archive and the
Ooh,
GM's
sir.
screen for
All right,
Father's
that's
Day.
You want to turn that fan, brother, so it'll hit us?
No. I want it all. Ain't that what Freddie said to the Dream Demons?
I want it all. Damn it. Now
So-
I'm going to have Freddy stuck in my head all night.
I've ran Starfinder once before. If you get the starter set, it comes with an adventure called Steel Talon's Lair, where basically you go through this dungeon and you fight a robot dragon. And you never said what you said you were going to say to him either. About his complex.
Oh, fuck. No, because we agreed we were going to retreat, and then someone didn't retreat.
I did lay the groundwork for someone to say something.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, toward the end, he started smoking and breaking down, and he was like, "What's happening to me?" Because he didn't understand why his body was reacting that way.
I
Anyway.
think at that point, I wasn't... Your hand is, like, black.
Yeah, that's ink from the pen. It was leaking. Anyways, so today, I just grabbed the exact same map, and for the most part, the same story beats and creatures. I changed a few things. But we ran essentially a sequel that is dubbed Steel Talon's Revenge because Steel Talon got away in the first one, right? Don't say shit. So,
Okay.
what did we think about this? Spoiler free before we get into it, guys.
It was interesting. I've never played Starfinder before. It's not anywhere near my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's also not like a huge letdown or anything. You know, it was fun.
Yeah, I had fun. I'm gonna say I never get a chance to be the badass at the table. I had a lot of fun
Oh,
toward
yeah.
the end. That was fun for me.
I tried
Yeah,
to.
I think you enjoyed that because of how much we fucked you over in the last couple of combats and
Yeah.
at the end and ever after. It was like,
So-
this is
yeah.
karma, and I am a god.
Like Strife was getting mad and I was sitting behind the screen like, it's cool. Anyways, who wants to jump in on how we started? There was like minimal to no RP in this one. It was your generic dungeon crawl, but on a space station.
And see, I wasn't expecting a whole lot of RP because you told us up front,
Yeah.
like, hey, this is just a simple dungeon crawl.
It's simple.
Yeah, we played because my son wanted to play. And I was like, what do you want to play? And he said Starfinder. So we played Starfinder. My son doesn't ask to play very often. And so when I get that chance to get some bonding, I'm gonna take it.
Right. Like when he takes that initiative and he's like, Dad, I want to play with you. You never miss out on that.
Yeah. Ever.
So, Lil Nitro calls us up and he's like, hey, we're going to push back session 0 because Nitro Jr. wants to play. And we were like, okay, let's do it.
Which he only stuck around for the first 3 combats?
Yeah.
We had a lot of combat. We had 8 combats? Yeah. I think there was 2 rooms out of the whole thing that weren't a combat.
Yeah. My poor nephew.
There was 3.
He wanted
3
to
rooms.
talk to somebody and rolled a 1. And then when it failed and it started, and you were like, roll initiative, he goes, "Aw, I started a fight." I was like, it's not your fault, Bubs, it's just the dice.
My son is one of the only kids in the world who at almost 13 years old can still be considered adorable.
Oh, yeah. You want to pick up
Anyway, so we start out with you guys going shopping, actually.
I think I
Which we really don't need to get too much into that, because
No.
I don't think any of you even used the things you bought.
That's what I
did.
was just going to
I
say.
did.
I
you?
bought
Grappling hook in my hand.
Yeah, that's right. You Batmaned the fuck out of that.
I bought a whole ass carton of cigarettes and smoked one the whole fucking session.
She made it a point to be like, can I buy cigarettes and a lighter? And I was like, you want to spend the credits on it? So she did it. And she legit, one time, lit up a cigarette in-game. Now, mind you, this is the same woman who, whenever we play Fantasy High, every 5 minutes is going, Bex lights up a cigarette.
I like, that is my usual for my characters. So,
Even in Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah, I made sure I had my cigarettes and my Zippo. And honestly, I think it had to do with the guy I was trying to flirt with.
Yeah.
Because I
Poor
lit up a
Tibbs.
cigarette and I offered him
look
one.
at there.
Right. And I offered him one and he's like, I don't smoke. It's a bad habit. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah,
and then I never lit another one.
Yeah, because you tried to smash. Yet, that smoking's a bad habit and he doesn't do it. Yet he licked goblin brains off his face. Very seductively. And didn't realize he was being seductive. Like the entire fucking session, she's trying to hit on this dude and he's just oblivious.
Like I winked at him and he's like, do you have something in your eye?
He's one of those like real buff, good looking dudes who's totally oblivious when it comes to women showing interest.
It's like
It's like Drax and Mantis.
Right. I was gonna say take Sheldon Cooper's personality when it comes to social cues and shove it in The Rock.
I almost pulled the line straight from Guardians of the Galaxy when you were flirting with him, but I didn't.
What?
I was gonna be like, I was imagining being intimate with you.
Oh my god! I would have cried at the table.
Oh, I should have done it.
Oh, you dick!
I don't get you to cry very often. It's normally Tink that's crying.
You almost got me to crying ever after.
Yeah, and you were only in that for 2 sessions.
Yeah.
I was proud of that. I almost got him to cry sophomore year over the phone while drunk.
Mm-hmm.
That was a proud moment for me.
I have a feeling that junior year is going to be the year that Nitro decides to break me and make me cry. I'm very scared
I almost
about that.
made you cry
Sophomore year. I almost
in the
did.
forest.
I've come this close a few times, but I haven't broke yet.
Anyways, so they go shopping. They buy a bunch of shit that they use almost none of. And, like, they spent a good chunk of change.
I didn't spend that much.
Okay, you didn't. Everyone else spent close to, if not over, 1,000 credits.
Yeah.
Like, my son blew 2,000 credits.
Like, he's like, do you want to get anything other than cigarettes and a lighter? Nah, I'm good. And everybody else is like, ooh, I want this, I want this, I want this.
By the way, another thing, before we get too far into this, can we just take a minute to talk about Tink playing a spellcaster that the entire session was doing nothing but trying to get more weapons.
She played this character the way Tank played Adam in sophomore year. The Neville Longbottom of the group.
Yeah. She's a technomancer, which there are, in this book, and this is the core rule book. Now, I don't have second edition because it just got released. This is first edition. But in this book, there are 2 spellcasting classes. That is it. The Mystic, which is what Jayde played, and then the Technomancer, which is what Tink played. And I figured that was going to happen because they're normally our go-to spellcasters. But for some reason, here's the thing. When Tink's playing a rogue, she only wants to cast spells. Now that she was playing a spellcaster, all she gave a fuck about was weapons. Dude, and I'm like, you're not a fucking fighter.
At one point, we were looting a room, and there was this cool-looking gun, and she tried to... She's immediately, I want it. And so...
And had no more slots for it.
Like, immediate... Strife opened his mouth, and I want it. And he goes...
Never mind.
And Nitro was like, you realize you have taken every weapon, right?
I'm like, there's 2 martial classes right here that could use it.
Yeah, I didn't take it.
She got mad because I got the grapple gun. Because we said something about it at the same time.
Well, and that's
so
the thing.
I did it fairly. I rock, paper, scissors her for it.
She could have bought a grappling gun like he did. But no, she was too concerned about batteries, even though I told her a million times, there's no batteries in this book. You can buy a power cell, which will stay at home, plugged in, and you can charge your shit on it. And here's the deal. She had nothing to charge.
She thought she had to charge herself. And she wasn't even an android. Like, that was her whole thing about batteries. When we sat down to play, she was convinced she was an android.
Even though she told me, I want to play the bug person.
And then, the minis, she kept picking up mine for her. And I was like, Tink, you're a bug. I'm the Mantis Loki offspring looking bitch, okay?
Now, we've picked on Tink. Now I'm going to pick on Jayde for a little bit. Because this woman was in the bathroom for an hour.
Yeah.
And we were out here in the heat, dying, not playing, waiting. And this happened.
Go.
I cannot count the number of times. We were 5 hours late starting this scenario.
That was not all me.
No, it was half you. The other half was Tink.
It wasn't half me.
49%.
51.
But no,
You got yourself
I'm telling
killed.
you, if I had $1 for every time someone left the table today, I'd have about $50. I'm not gonna say I'd be rich because I wouldn't. It wasn't that much, but it was a lot.
Yeah.
So that's about the only problem I had with today's session was it took way too long because of the time shit, because everybody,
Dude.
and then because of that, I did not get to present you guys with the finale that I had planned, which I think would have been a lot better. However, I can now use that for the next session.
And I will admit, it took me a while in the bathroom that trip. I've been having bathroom issues.
Yeah, we're not going
That's
to get
all
into
I'm gonna
personal
say.
details.
But that's over. A few hours later,
I am way
I
out
had to
of frame.
pee. I told the table, I'm going to go pee.
For 37 minutes.
No, because here's what happened. I went in there, I sit down, I pee, and the second my pee stops and I reach for the toilet paper,
Because the last time she went in there, she was in there for an
I
hour.
say yes, and
we
this
got the
one
final
goes,
part.
hurry
Yeah,
up.
we
I
were
was
at
like,
the
dude,
finale.
can I wipe in peace?
We were at the finale, and this is after we had, like I said, been put off 5 fucking hours.
I can't control that I have to pee. I've had
No,
2
you
children.
can't. But I'm explaining why he was knocking on the door.
Okay, all I'm saying.
Anyway, this has
all
not.
I'm saying.
No, we're wasting time.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit.
Get on it.
She's cruising for a penalty, y'all.
He already gave me 2 today.
I had 3. Fuck off.
I had 0.
Yeah, he was like, I will take one For each one, I give one of y'all if you willingly take one.
And only 2 of them had the balls, and it was the 2 without balls.
But those 3 penalties on you came in handy for us.
They did. So, we did our shopping, and then you guys arrived down at this fucking maze of corridors toward the bottom of the spike on Absalom Station.
I love how I made a point of making my character up to be like Mantis and used her like 11 from Stranger Things.
No joke. I never once heard you make a Mantis reference, but like 3-4 times she was like, I go 11 on this bitch.
I did, like...
She's obsessed with Stranger Things.
In season
I love
5
Stranger
trailers
Things.
dropped.
She's obsessed with Stranger Things. To the point, Ouija Matt has a song with Ricky Hill. It came out, Problem Children 2. Check it out. But there's a song called Upside Down. And the only reason she even gave this song the time of day is because of one line where he says, I'm in the upside down like 11.
That's not the only reason. I like Ouija. I listen to some of his music.
I've showed you many of the newer Ouija songs. You don't bump any of them. This is the first one that's new that I've been like, check this out.
Okay,
and
there's
you've
a
gone
lot
back and
of
listened
artists.
to it on your own.
There's a lot of artists that I really like that I don't listen to every single song of.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I'm saying you have what? 2?
3.
3 Ouija, and one of them is upside down, isn't it? My point.
Upside Down, Fill the Space,
Sister.
and Dead Diary.
Ask me how many Ouija Mag songs are on my phone.
Okay, that's not fair. He's your favorite rapper. That's different.
When I first started listening to him, how many songs do you think I was listening to over and over?
At least an album's worth.
2.
Really?
2 albums worth.
Really? I'm not surprised. But again, it's different because he is your favorite
Right,
rapper.
but when I first started listening to him, I didn't know who the fuck he was. I got introduced to him at the gathering. Anyway, we are way the fuck off topic.
Anyway,
What
so,
happened in this room, this first room?
There was, like, okay, so the plastic that
Dungeon crawl on the space station.
the plastic that people hang up for, like, renovations and shit.
Yep.
There was one here and one here. And this goblin come through this one fighting with them. And I was
Well,
like...
because he walked right up to the plastic.
He really
Right
did.
off the bat.
Well, they're not supposed to?
They only trigger if you approach the plastic.
I mean, we would have had to approach.
Right, but like, he didn't even give the room a cursory scan first.
No.
He just goes, hey, what's that?
He's always the one jumping in. That's why whenever we jump in recklessly, he's like, okay, there's a reason.
Yeah, because she overthinks shit like a
I
motherfucker.
do. But that's because you've gotten so much shit over my head. He's bad. Like,
Remember, the greatest magic of all is necromancy. And then the finale. The greatest magic of all. Do you remember? And Tink goes, love? He's like, love? Are you fucking stupid? So, in a war, when a mother and her children get fucking iced in an alleyway, was the problem that they didn't love each other enough? That's stupid, Zarina. Magic is magic. Love is love.
see that bird? I fucked that bird.
He had the exact same argument in D20, but with Kristen, only she said friendship. And she goes, well, then what's the answer, cokehead? I love Kristen. Oh, my God. Tangent, really quick. Junior year, Allie almost made Brennan quit.
Did he eat his dice?
No. He started packing his shit and leaving the dome to the point where Zach had to go to the DM chair. And then when he finally come back, they're like, oh, are you, yeah, my Uber's not going to be here for 4 hours, so we can finish this up really quick.
Oh.
I'm not going to go into full detail because it was at the finale, but essentially, Kristen wanted to do divine intervention with her deity, but she didn't want to do it. She wanted her simulacrum to do it. who is a British version of Kristen named K2. You want to know how she casted Divine Intervention? She farted and said "blimey" and rolled a nat 20.
Oh, fuck.
And here's the kicker. Brennan was like so convinced it wasn't going to work. He goes, all right, we're going to bring up the box of doom. And he's sitting there and he's telling him, all right, and he goes, no. Like immediately it hits. He's like, no. No. And he's like, all right, I need to ride home. And then Allie goes, if you tell a comedian that if this happens, you're going to quit the job you're insanely good at, it's too funny not to happen.
That's fucking...
Yeah.
Oh my god. I cannot wait to play this so I can watch it.
You got to get behind the paywall to watch it.
Yeah.
They're not going to release it for free until they start releasing senior year.
I know, but eventually they'll release it for free.
Maybe Fantasy. They don't release a lot of their campaigns for free. The only reason they do it for Fantasy High because there's multiple seasons.
Yeah.
Just like with Unsleeping City, the first season's up for free, but that's because there's 2 seasons. The only other ones you can find up for free are the one-shots, and even then it's only like 2 or 3 of them. Because like when we did Misfits and Magic, I had to get behind the paywall.
Can we just discuss how well I know my brother? I got you all something. Is it Fago? Yes.
Yeah, I already finished mine. So, we're already way the fuck off topic, and we're like 20 minutes in, and we still haven't cleared the first room.
Okay.
This is what kept happening when we tried to play through it. Only instead of us talking about random shit, it was me, him, and Strife doing this. Right?
Huh?
Like that. Anyway, so he immediately walks up to this piece of plastic, and the goblin hiding behind it shoots at him. Starting the first official combat. What? Do I need to get my claws?
Rawr. Nah.
I stabbed him earlier, and he smashed Tink, but not in an adult way.
Oh my god.
He smashed her in like a WWE way.
Okay, buddy.
Okay, so anyways, so they get in the fight with this goblin, and
Yeah, take over. For a bit.
I
I'm gonna get some coffee.
decided to go all 11 on this other one, but it hadn't come through yet.
I told you she kept saying that.
I did. I used all my telekinetic stuff like 11. But
Well, you were playing on Lashunta, and they're like famously psychic.
yeah. So what I did was I readied it for when that came through. And so the excuse we gave for me readying it was my character was just like, okay, so that happened with that, and there's another sheet like that right here, so I'm just gonna get ready just in case. And sure as shit, the motherfucker come running through and immediately got blasted back and was just dead. Dead.
Yeah, those goblins only had 6 hit points each.
Yeah, they were
AC
easy.
was like 12.
Hey.
Oh, now, for those of you unfamiliar with Starfinder, it was a very big conversion for us
I'm gonna steal your seat too.
for a few simple reasons. One, you have 3 different armor classes. 2, you essentially have 2 pools of hit points to track.
A lot of
you
the
get
skills are different.
3 actions, even though one of them is pretty much useless unless you're doing like one thing.
Yeah.
And even then, you can't do it every turn. So, like, it's very different. It's very difficult to learn when you're used to something like 5e. But if you're coming from 3.5, it's still different, but it's a little easier.
Yeah, coming from the stuff that we normally play,
This was crunchy.
yeah. I mean,
There was
it
a lot
took,
more
what,
rules
2
heavy.
hours just for us to make my character?
Yeah.
Because we were trying to figure it out together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, scooch over a little bit so I can get in the front.
Like, we were literally on the phone for 2 hours just figuring out how to roll up a character for this.
Yeah, because the first time we played it, we just used the starter set rules, and they're way fucking different from the core rules. Which I knew there was going to be differences. I knew that it wasn't going to line up perfect, because no starter set lines up perfectly with the core rules. But, like, it was way
right
more different than I was expecting.
Right.
And, like, I wanted them in advance. I was like, there's going to be some times where I'll make a ruling that does not fall in line, because I gave them the Hero's Handbook out of the starter set for reference. I was like, there's going to be a few times where a ruling I make does not line up with that. If you're confused, feel free to ask me a question, but I'm telling you ahead of time, a lot of times it's going to be because the official rules do not line up with those rules. And we had that come up a couple of times. But anyways,
Quite a few, actually.
so the first combat was done in like 10 seconds because it was just two fucking basic bitch space goblins.
The one didn't even stand a chance. His whole role was, wah!
Yeah. Basically, she was the big bad wolf, and she huffed and puffed and blew his ass away. So, you went down corridor B, yes, after that?
Yeah, we went that way.
Yeah, so instead of going through the doorway that they were shot through, they went through the doorway that old boy was flown through. I'm going to grab the book, so in case we need to, for reference on the order of operations. See, here's the map I was using. It marks where everything is.
You showed me down here earlier.
Yeah. So, you see this?
Oh, that's the plants?
Yep. This is one of the things I changed. You want to see what was there the first time?
Yeah. Oh, it's pretty.
It's smaller. It's medium.
I want one.
And there's only one of them.
When we play again, can I have one of these as a pet?
No.
Aww.
Anyways, so from there, yeah, see here? Shows the goblins behind the sheets.
Right.
From there, you came through this corridor and went into Area 2. And what happened in Area 2?
We met Tibbs.
Where's right here? Ruxo Tibbs.
Yeah, I was smitten.
She was. She spent the entire session trying to hook up with Tibbs. Hashtag we'll get there. Let's just say she never got the bone.
I never even
And
got
I know for all you juggalos that's confusing because you don't want to get the bone because that's normally, that's how we say you get killed is you get the bone. But she wanted the bone from this dude.
I never even got a high five.
If anyone's seen Sinbad, The Adventures of Sinbad, this dude looked like if Vin Diesel played Sinbad.
But had the social cues of Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory.
No, not quite that bad. I'd say more like, what the fuck? Josh from Drake and Josh.
Yes!
But he looked like Drake. So, like, if Drake had the social skills with girls of Josh,
One condition, what? I get to be
the
boyfriend!
I love Drake and Josh. Shout out to Drake Bell and Josh Peck. I said Drake Gel.
We watched that so much growing up.
I would still watch it if Nick and Knight was still a fucking thing.
It's on Paramount Plus.
I don't have that.
Any hooser. That's my catchphrase on this bitch. Any hooser.
So what happened with Tibbs in this little...
As he recognized Nitro Jr. and Doyen's characters.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as he found out that the dragon was on this ship, he was gonna fucking dip. He was supposed to dip. I rolled
he was supposed to give you guys some info.
What, a nat 20 on that?
The info that it says he gives, he gave them last session. So basically, he was just supposed to give you guys some equipment and then be on his way. But they wouldn't let that happen.
Didn't I roll that 20 on the diplomacy?
You did.
So I convinced him to help us out. And I tried to flirt with him.
Oh, and unlike D&D, you know how the auto success and auto fail on a 1 in 20 in D&D is a homebrew that only applies in combat? It's in the rule book for Starfinder. No matter what you're rolling for, 1 is automatic failure, 20 is an automatic success. It's in the core rules. So we don't have to homebrew that.
So then he cracked open a crate, got his gun, and then let us have that crate.
Yep.
And then we moved on with him.
And next up was the reactor room.
Mm-hmm.
What did you guys come across in the reactor room?
I don't know what those things were. They were like Electro from Spider-Man.
They're called Hespers.
Yeah.
It's basically like a radioactive wraith.
That's poor Nitro Jr. So we're all looking at this, and him and Doyen stepped forward, and he decided he wanted to try and talk to them. He wanted to be very nice about it, and he had to roll. And when he rolled, he got a 1. He's not to the point that we are, where if we know we're going to fail, we butcher what we're doing so it makes sense.
Yeah.
He's not to that point. So he was still trying to be nice. And they started attacking, and he goes, "Oh, I started a fight." And I felt so bad for him.
He's like, "Did I say the wrong thing?" And she goes, "No, buddy, you just rolled bad."
I was like, it's not your fault. It's the dice. The dice control everything. And he goes, "Okay." I'm like, my heart.
He took it like a champ.
He did. And then he helped us kick their asses. What did I hit that one with?
Fuck, I don't remember.
Oh, it was the fucking hurl something.
The disc.
Yeah.
It was like a spectral frisbee.
Just shot it from my hand.
Plunk. Clocked him right in the face.
Fucking funny. Strife and Doyen shot the
By the
reactor
way,
up.
I didn't get a chance to use any of them, but you see their stat block, right?
Yeah. I didn't realize that.
Because the first attack they tried is their most powerful, which is the mutating touch.
But they did it on an android.
They're not, I guess they're not smart enough to differentiate. Because if you look on here, they don't have stats listed. They have like their skills and their saving throws and shit. But where on here do you see strength, intelligence, dex, any of that?
Oh, nah, that's not there at all.
Yeah, the full stats are in the Alien Archive. But I was trying my best not to have all 3 books open all at once back there, you know?
Really?
What?
That would have been so cool.
Yeah.
That would have been so cool. Any Hoosers.
So, how did we get out of
Doyen
that
and
one?
Strive shot up the reactor.
Yeah.
And we beat up the other guys.
The other
That's
guys.
that's
The green guys.
Yeah, that's essentially how we got out of that one. And then we moved on.
Yep.
I think we took a 10-minute rest and then we moved on.
Yeah, we took a 10-minute rest a couple times.
Like, between quite a few combats.
Needed to.
Yeah.
Stamina was going down like a beast. So, in Starfinder, you have hit points, stamina points, and resolve points. And your stamina points are essentially like the blue armor bar in GTA. So, it's like 10 hit points in D&D. So, basically, they have to chew through your stamina before they get to your hit points, right? Now, your stamina points regen quick as fuck. Like, all you gotta do is spend a resolve point in 10 minutes and all your stamina comes back. Your hit points, however, regen at whatever your level is per day. So for you guys, this session would have been 4 hit points a day. Which is slow. It's not as slow as Call of Cthulhu's healing.
Thankfully, I never got through my stamina enough to touch my HP.
That's one of the things I like about Call of Cthulhu is the healing takes a while. Like in Call of Cthulhu,
If you get fucked
regen
up, you get fucked up.
1 hit point a day. And that's with medical attention.
Like, there was quite a few sessions during campaigns and shit for Call of Cthulhu that we would have to do 2 to 3 week, if
Time
not longer,
jumps.
time jumps.
Just
Just
so
so
you'd
that
be
our
healed
characters
up.
could stay in the hospital to recover.
Yeah.
Because you're just normal fucking
Yeah,
people.
It's more realistic. Like the max hit points you will ever get in Call of Cthulhu is 20.
Yeah.
And you're taking hits that are dealing like 40 damage.
Yeah. Ooh.
Because 9 times out of 10, they're fighting monsters. A lot of times you fight people, like cultists and shit, but for the most part,
It's normal
the scenarios
fucking people
we run,
fighting
it's
monsters.
Dissociation, though.
Shut up about dissociation. We're not talking about that. We're supposed to be recapping this. Get back on track.
Area 4.
That was the plant darts, right? The plant D'Artagnans.
They're not darts.
They look like dart. They look like
They
demodogs made of plants.
Demodogs don't have tentacle faces.
Their mouths open up.
And they don't have frills on their back.
I thought they looked like planty style demodogs.
Hang on, y'all.
I'm allowed to have an opinion.
Yep, and I'm allowed to tell you it's wrong. We're going to let y'all be the judge. I'll show you what we're talking about, page 70.
The next time Shaggy shouts us out, he's going to talk about how stupid I sound.
That's what she's saying looks like a demodog from Stranger Things.
But like a plant one.
It looks nothing like a demodog.
If Dart and Bulbasaur had a baby.
It's no. Anyway, there's 2 of those hiding in the points.
Oh my god. Strife set one on fire.
Oh, how'd that go?
So much fire.
So much fire.
So much fire.
Like that whole hallway was full.
I threw fucking Doyen into the other room because he was about to get fucking murked. I was trying to help him. Yeah, the one that Strife set on fire took off running towards us and just lit the whole fucking hallway up.
It was bright as fuck in there for that moment. Because they're going on like dim ass fucking fluorescent lights. And then that fire hit. It's just a beacon in this bitch.
Yeah, and like, so we fought them things off. So after I flung Doyen in there, we fought them off while Doyen got the sprinkler system activated.
Y'all dominated most of this session.
I cut one of them's head off with my buzzblade. But, you know, after that one, we went to the next one. And I think that was the one where we fought, like, what, 7 goblins?
No.
No. What was that one then? Can I see this?
Look at the picture. You'll remember it.
Oh, that was the goop. It was the elixirs. Because I made the... Okay. Here we go.
Who was it that tried to talk? Was that you that tried to talk to the hologram?
No. That was Tink.
Was it? Talk about that shit.
A hologram
That was the
popped up.
funniest shit I've ever
Letting,
seen.
you know, like, greeting us like it was one of those pre-recorded messages.
It's essentially an advertisement.
Letting us know it was some kind of like elixir pub.
Yeah.
And Tink starts asking it questions.
And then so it starts repeating itself and like, you know, just glitching out shit. And she goes, he glitches? And I'm like, he's a hologram. It's a pre-recorded message. And she goes,
Let me act out her response. Oh.
I let her down so many times today. She was so sad.
So all the elixirs were spilled onto the floor. So me and Doyen started grabbing vials, and they were all different colors. So we scooped up a vial of each color, and we decided we were gonna
Try 'em all.
We were gonna try them all together. And
Not like in a smoothie, like one at a time.
like together, as in we both tried them.
Yeah.
So
Some
like
were better than others.
we would agree on which color, and I think the second one was when I got my first bad one.
Yeah.
And my character
Immediately.
so I made a Sweeney Todd joke. And I went, huh, this is piss with ink. And he started laughing.
I don't really fuck with Sweeney Todd like that, but that was funny in the moment.
I was proud of that. But like we got some good perks, we got some bad stuff.
Basically, you taste it and you roll a d10. If you get a 6 or higher, you get a good result. A 4 lower is a bad result, and a 5 is a no result.
And a 10 is the best.
Yes. 10 gives you a bonus on one thing for the whole fucking adventure.
Oh, so by this point, Nitro
Either saving
Jr.
throws, attack rolls, or AC.
Oh, by this point, Nitro Jr. was done for the night, so it was just the last four of us. And me and Doyen at first were the only two brave enough to try these elixirs. But after the first one, we both got really good shit.
Yeah, which I love Tink. She's such a metagamer. Because her and Strife immediately were like, no, I'm not fucking touching it. And then she saw the mechanical benefits they got. Mind you, their characters know nothing about the mechanics for this game. But she saw they were getting buffs, and that's when she wanted to do it. And I didn't say shit, but in my head, I'm like, you metagaming motherfucker.
Oh, I plan on calling her out for that. But, so then it was the three of us. Strife was still, no, I'm not drinking that.
Which, he was not metagaming.
Exactly.
His character had no interest in it, and then after y'all drank it, he still had no interest in it because, once again, he could not see a mechanical bit because y'all don't know shit about that. All he knows is he saw you drink that shit and turn into Linda Blair from The Exorcist.
Yep. Then we moved on to the one with the 7 goblins. Right?
No.
Fuck.
Next was the trap room.
That's right, because we were playing Follow the Leader, and Doyen was the leader. And there was a statue, and he went to go around it and got fucking bitch slapped.
He got hit with a laser.
Yeah, he got bitch slapped with a laser, let's be honest.
Right next to his nuts.
We were like, oh my god. I don't know how they saw where the trapdoors were, so you'll have to explain that.
They made a mysticism check. DC 20.
I wish I'd known that was what they did, because I had an 11 for mysticism.
I told everyone to roll.
I didn't catch it. Granted, at that time,
Well, I mean, you did spend half the session like this.
I was gonna say, by that, I had... How do I put this? I got to actually have more fun than I normally do tonight. So I was a little out of it for a little while. Shut up.
That's a light way of putting it. Hey, we're already over halfway through this.
Yep. Well, we finally... Fucking
So
Strife.
essentially, Strife does a Hulk jump onto the statue, completely bypassing the pressure plates.
He rips one of the gem eyes out, while Tink fucking magics the other one, finally using some spell.
Finally. I think that was like the one of 3 spells she kept. I had to put the fucking timer out because she would wait until it was her turn to start looking at what she wanted to do. And I don't know how many times. Yeah. I don't know how many times I've had to explain to them, pay attention to what's going on, but you need to be figuring out what you're going to do on your turn during everyone else's turn. That way, when we get to you, we're not sitting here waiting for 10 fucking minutes. You can just tell me what you want to do, and we can.
I can't tell you the number of times that I have mapped out what I was going to do, and somebody took out the enemy I was going to go after, so I'd have to rework it while the rest of initiative was going on.
Which is how it should be. Which I hate putting that fucking timer out. But what I hate more than having to put the timer out is having to wait 10 minutes in between everybody's fucking turn because no one has decided what they want to do. I think I was a little more free with the timer today than I have been at all lately.
Yeah. Well, they ripped the magic gem eyes out of the statue, and that made the pressure point stuff not matter.
Tink played the necromancer the way Tank played the wizard.
The technomancer.
That's what I said.
You said necromancer.
With a T though.
Yeah, but you said
The necromancer.
No. Not at all.
The crap romancer?
Yes.
You know what a crap romancer is?
Somebody who sucks at romance?
Someone that's a Golgothan. A shit demon!
You know, necromancers are pretty fucking romantic themselves. They really put the romance in necromance.
Mm. You know what the slogan for necromancy is? Crack open a cold one. Wait, no, that's necrophilia. Anyway. So, he jumps on the thing, they get the eyes out, disables the trap, and then
we moved on. We blew through this dungeon fairly.
We did not.
Okay. Aside from if you were to just take out all the tangents and pauses, we would have been done with this in a couple hours.
Yeah, the problem is we weren't.
You know what I mean?
It don't matter what could have happened. It matters what happened.
Going over just the game portion.
Which is why I had a whole different finale plan, because I figured we would have been at the last room of this within 3-4 hours, and it took like fucking 10.
So then we moved on.
Area 7. This is what the 7.
The 7 goblins.
Which,
finally.
You want to see what was there in the first run through?
Can't see that. 3.
Yeah.
Why'd we get 7 then?
Because this is a sequel. I had to bump everything up because y'all are a higher level.
Thought I heard something.
The fan.
No, it sounded like a phone was ringing.
Yeah, that's the same reason I replaced that tiger looking thing with the... I had to bump everything up for a higher level. And goblins are so fucking weak that the only way they're going to stand a chance is if there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Like, think about this. You get in a fight with a goblin, you're going to kill it by spitting on it. He's going to die of 1d4 embarrassment damage.
Like a wizard.
Now, if it's you versus 12 goblins...
Oh, you're fucked.
Yeah, they might give you a run for your money. And they're like orangutans. They like to eat people's faces off.
That's like that one... Okay, so...
One of them tried.
Doyen got... was it one or more of them? I think it was a couple of them.
I don't know. I know one of them lunged at his face. And he ducked and it face planted.
No, I'm talking about the Coke.
That was just one.
He got one of them.
It wasn't Coke, but...
It was essentially... He basically made a goblin a Coke fiend.
Yeah. He did that.
I know when, on my turn, there was one right next to me, and it went to go at me, and I cast fear on it, and I just looked at it and was like, no. And it went, ah! And it tried to run away, and as soon as it did it, I got an opportunity attack, and I sliced it in half.
Oh, we'll get there. We'll get there. I was about to say something, but we're not there yet.
Can I?
No, I just gave you one. I'll give you another one when we wrap. We're almost done.
I'm gonna smoke a rollie then.
Yes, you have rollies.
I have a couple.
Smoke them.
I gotta roll a few more before I leave for my drive.
And so when we get done with this, I'm gonna be getting ready for bed. I am tired, and it is Father's Day. She's taking her dad out for Chinese buffet in the morning, but they're going to a place that I really don't like, so she's not gonna make me go. So she's gonna make me lasagna for dinner.
Oh, that's
Because
dope.
my baby loves me.
So, we,
Shout out to Vixen, y'all.
Area
8 is next. Do you remember what was that?
the Sentinel bot.
Nope, look. That's how big the room is.
Oh, it was just a loop, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That was what we were
That
talking
was the
about
fucking-
earlier.
That was where we found that cool looking
You
gun.
want to show them what it looks like?
I try. It's called a accurate hand coil. That's what the gun looks like.
The hand coil is the type of gun, and accurate is the property it
Bear
has.
in mind, by now, Tink has done got a semi-auto pistol, a longsword, plus her starting
a tactical
weapons.
knife, and another pistol. Like, no joke. Every weapon they came across, she tried to take immediately, even though she's a spellcaster.
Yeah, we went into this one. There was 4 items. There was 4 of us.
Now, 4 items, no, that's not including, they could have taken extra clothing or extra food rations. This is just the loot, that like the treasure items that were in there.
There was that gun, a cred stick with 75 credits, which is basically like 75 gold in D&D. A 50-foot line of cable, 2 med patches, you know, and that was the loot. And I was like, I'm gonna get the med patches. You know, I'm the closest thing to a healer we've got, so I'm gonna snag that. Dorian immediately, I want the creds. And we're like, okay. Tink goes, I want the gun. Right as Strife's opening his mouth, and he goes, never mind. And that's when Nitro's like, you realize you've taken every weapon,
I hadn't
right?
said anything to that point, and I seen he was like, ooh, there's a weapon I can finally get, and she sniped him on it, and I fucking couldn't hold it back no more. I was like, Tank, you are a spellcaster. You are not a martial class. These 2 are, and you have literally taken every weapon you found.
Well, like, we found a grapple gun before that, and
She got mad that she didn't get it.
like, Strife didn't want it. Dorian already had one. So I stated, you know, I want it. Right as I said that, she said she wanted it. So I looked at her, and to make it fair, I was like, okay, rock, paper, scissors for it, since we both want it and they don't. She's like, okay. So we rock, paper, scissors. And I won, and she got so salty.
We love you, Tink.
We do.
We don't talk shit. We talk love.
We tell you this to
talk
your
facts.
face.
We literally told her all this before she left.
Yeah.
But mad love. Shout out to Tink and Strife and everyone that played. So essentially, we argued with Tink about taking his fucking gun.
And finally, she's like, fine, I'll take the 50 feet of cable, I guess.
With no idea what steel cable is. Like, how do you not... Like, we have steel cable. How do you not know what that is?
Right. And then we moved on, and the next one was the Sentry Bot.
Yes.
And that one was my fault. Because I rolled a 1.
Why don't you get into that?
Everybody decided to just sneak past the Sentry Bot. And I was the only one...
It was in standby mode. It was charging.
Yeah. And I was the only one that failed. Because I rolled a 1.
Miserably.
Is there enough over there for 2 cups?
I doubt it.
Okay, then you take the last cup.
There might be like a splash left when I'm done. Warm your cup up a little.
Nah. I don't have enough for it to really do anything. That's why I asked if there was enough for 2 cups. So I rolled a 1, so I tripped over my own 2
That's
motherfucking
what's
feet.
left.
Nah, go ahead and turn it off, unless you're wanting more.
No.
I didn't think so. I'll drink the rest of my Fago.
Yeah, there you go.
So I just completely busted my ass. And it woke up, shouted intruder, zapped me with electricity, and then hovered right over me, and I was like, fuck you, and I fucking snapped my head and flew it away from me. And then Dorian come help me up, so he got to attack. And I was like, are you gonna move? I was like, no, I'm standing with my friend. So then we all just kind of like converged on the sentry bot.
This is what I have for 2nd edition. And it's basically just like a sneak peek at different creatures.
Right.
I think.
And then we moved on to the next one.
Like.
I'm gonna let you talk about the next one though.
Yeah, this is a few monster stat blocks from 2nd edition. Here's what 2nd edition Starfinder looks like, but this isn't this is a pamphlet I got at Free RPG Day last year. So that was Area 9, yes?
Yeah.
Here comes my favorite scene from tonight, because for once I got to be the badass, and we're there. Hashtag we're there.
I think he went in there and went to sleep.
He might have. In that case, scooch over a little so I can scooch over. So.
How's that?
Better. Now, they get to this last big ass chamber. It's full of scrap metal and junk and mechanical parts. And standing inside is a large robot dragon and 2 dragonkin, which are way fucking overpowered in this game. I was thinking, yeah, they're dragon type. They could be some minions, because I'm thinking of them like a half dragon in D&D or like a dragonborn, you know? No, these things are formidable as fuck. They have damn near 150 hit points. They have a 27 armor class. They have a plus 22 to hit.
And
they have
he
a
nerfed
15
them, and they were still
damage
fucking
bonus.
us up.
Yeah, I nerfed them to make them easier to handle. Now, where it gets interesting is right off the bat, as soon as Strife goes to get to attack, rolls what, a 22, and it doesn't hit.
Like, he was stoked by his roll.
Yeah. I felt bad when I had to tell him it was a miss.
Until his reaction.
But that's about when they found out how hard this fight was going to be.
Because he was like, 22. And Nitro goes, miss. And he goes...
I didn't say it like that. He said 22, and he's smiling. I was like, that's not going to hit. And he's like, are you fucking kidding me? And I'm like, no. Sorry.
He about gave up. I was like, they're not all going to be winners. But, like, as soon as Nitro told us how high, like, he was like, a 22 is not going to hit. Me and Doy had looked at each other. We were like, this is a fucking TPK. Which, as soon as we entered the room, they started monologuing to us. And as soon as they finished their monologue, Doy and Batman grappled to the ceiling. Like, right in front of them. And he's like, I'm just gonna hide up here. So once we realized how...
I think his plan was to walk the rafters so he could try to get the jump on Steel Tower.
Once we realized how difficult they were going to be, you know, we all started like, holy fuck, this is going to be a TPK, this is going to be bad.
To which I was like, just so you know, retreat is always an option.
So Strife was not really...
Yeah, he wasn't down with that.
No, he wasn't down with anything at that point. Right then, he was upset and he was giving up. Me, Tink, and Doyen were talking while he was talking to Strife, and we all three
made my cup and left it over here.
We all three agreed we were gonna retreat on our turns, and. You know, we double checked with Dory and we were like, are we just going to retreat? And he's like, yeah.
Tink was the first one out.
He gets done talking to Strife. He goes to Tink because it's her turn. She retreats. He gets to me. I retreat. Gets to Doyen, and as soon as we're gone, Doyen goes, "Nah, I'm gonna fight to the death."
And he did.
And then continued to give us grief about running when he got eaten because he told us he was gonna run too.
All I'm gonna say is my sister and lovely cousin were.
We were little bitches.
They were bitches.
We were bitches.
Dwayne was nice. He's like, they're cowards, and I was like, no, they're bitches. And here's where it gets good, okay? So these dragonkin have these fucking glaives, okay? Now, sister, so they know I'm not bullshitting, I'm gonna have you read the stats for their weapons. You could have fought this thing. I almost pulled him out.
I like that. I want that.
That's a gauntlet you can make out of him. There. So here's the glaive right here.
Oh.
See it on his back?
Yeah.
Now, read that. The melee.
Thunderhead Dragon Glaive. Plus 22. 2d8 plus 15. Or bite plus 22. 2d6 plus 15. Oh.
Give you an idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, one of them
So-
flew up to Doyen after we retreated and was like, and Doyen's like, I brought him to you. I brought him to you.
Yeah, he
and
was trying.
And he goes, "You're a coward, so I'm going to give you the choice. Glaive or gun?"
So, essentially, Strife and Doyen end up disarming them of their glaives. So now they have these high-ass attack bonuses and damage outputs with these weapons. And with these weapons alone,
Strife carried that fucking
Strife
combat.
turned it the fuck around. And at which point, Tink looks at me because I told them, I was like, you're out of the combat. Y'all are out. So we did like, what, 2-3 rounds?
In
And
which
then-
Strife was fucking the actual dragon up.
Yes. Like he
was hitting nat 20s back to
He got
back.
him down from 200 hit points to 56. So
I was so proud of him.
and this is what really cemented it in my mind that you two were cowards. Is after all that bullshit about them getting out, once they started winning again, Tink wanted to get back into combat.
I was
And
just
she
trying to
goes-
go with the flow.
She goes, "Can I take a penalty and come back in?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure."
I wasn't gonna do that. I was
But since I let her, I gave you the option.
yeah, and honestly I kind of felt like if I didn't come back to help, I was gonna be a bigger asshole.
Yeah.
Because I'd already been made out to be an asshole because Doyen fucked us over.
No, y'all fucked them over by running.
He was supposed to come too, in which we assumed Strife would follow.
Oh, I could have told you he would. You're talking about the dude that kills his characters for fun. He's not going to leave a combat.
But we were put under the impression Doyen was coming with, and then Doyen made the biggest scene about us leaving. That made me feel like shit. So,
Good.
as soon as they looked at me and they were like, "Do you want to do it too?" I was like, "Fuck it, might as well. I'm gonna be an asshole either way."
It wasn't a TPK. Doyen was eaten by the dragon.
Yes.
Doyen died.
And blamed
However,
us.
he's the only one that died, and I had him come sit behind the screen with, so he actually got to see how I run these games. What do you remember the first fucking thing out of his mouth sitting back there?
Mm-mm.
We're sitting there and he sits down and he sees what I've got set up behind the screen and he goes, "Oh my God, you're keeping track of a lot back here." I'm like, "Yeah." So I had him roll dice for me. I had him move minis around. And essentially how it ends up is
Strife not only single-handedly fucked the dragon up, he got the dragon to retreat.
he basically, and he got him down to 56 hit points. And instead of attacking him again on his next turn, he rolled a diplomacy check to try to get him to surrender.
Nat 20.
And so the dragon was like, okay, well, you're not taking me, but I will take the mercy, and flew the fuck off.
And the dragon kid are like,
Thought we were a thing.
Yeah,
we came with him.
we don't know what to do now.
Because they were just minions. Powerful minions, but minions nonetheless.
Didn't Strife and Tink try to convince them to join us?
I think Tink did, but it wasn't going. Dragonkin are notoriously racist.
Yeah, they only go with people who are like dragons. And there's no dragonborns in this.
No. There's
Because if there
Dragonkin
were, I
and then there's
guarantee you
dragons.
Strife would have played one.
Oh, yeah.
In which case they probably would have joined us.
So, long story short, Steel Talon flies away, meaning we are now left open for a third installment with him.
And he's going to be bigger.
And that's how we ended it pretty much. It was
Yeah.
like that cliffhanger. You guys saw him flying toward the amusement park
Nope.
with all that juicy scrap metal.
And that was pretty much the end. Then we jumped into our normal questions.
So, what did we think? What would you rate it?
I'd give it a 7. Like, I had fun.
You're nicer than me. I'd give it like a 5.
I had fun. I enjoyed it. You know, I like the story. Well, less of a story and more of
Yeah,
you know,
there's-
the dungeon crawl. But it's also not as good as some of the other stuff we've done,
Yeah.
including other dungeon crawls.
Don't get me wrong. I'm so glad I have access to these books.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so glad we have this system to play when we want this kind of theme or genre.
Or just want to switch it up.
It is in no way one of my favorites. I have 3 systems that we play that are, I would consider my top 3 favorite. Number 1, Call of Cthulhu. Number 2, D&D. Number 3, Cyberpunk. And that's just because the rest of the systems I have, we haven't played enough to get a feel for it.
Right.
Like, we've got Alien, we've got Cult, Divinity Lost, we've got The Walking Dead.
And we've only done Cult twice, and both times were the same one-on-one improv scenario, and we just, you ran me through it, and then I ran you through
I had
it.
a lot of fun with Cult.
Oh, yeah, that was
I have a
blast.
feeling if we get more time with Cult, I'll end up liking it more than D&D, just like I do with Cult, because we're more horror buffs anyway, so that's like our bread and butter.
Oh, yeah.
when it
And I
comes to
really,
games.
what I
like
really,
to the point where I made our last D&D game horror. Well, I didn't make it that way. Brennan did.
but you picked a
Right.
horror themed.
Exactly.
I think what I really liked about that scenario that we did of Cult was it's one of those that we don't need a whole table, you know.
And you can run it 50 times and get a different story every time.
Exactly. Like he ran me through it. And pretty
Like
much as
20
soon
minutes
as we
later.
were done, I ran him through it, and it was completely
Yeah.
fucking different.
She literally had enough time to read through, 4 pages of notes.
Not
And then
even like
pick
I
a different
skimmed
creature.
through a few pages to pick a monster. I looked through a couple prompts to pick a prompt, and that was it.
It's a grab and go adventure.
And no matter
It's
how
called
many,
The Driver.
like you can
in
run
case you
through
guys
it
are
so
interested.
many times and never have the same story.
By the way, big fucking props, big shout out to JPC for sending me the Cult book.
Yes, thank you, JPC.
Thank you so much, homie, because we had a lot of fun with Cult.
Honestly, if we get to spend some more time with Colt, that'll probably end up being my new favorite.
I still have that scenario, but we need a full table for it.
We need to see if we can talk them into giving it a try.
Yeah, Doyen's probably a no-go for Cult
Yeah.
because of some of the darker themes in it.
Which
but
we don't have to do all of those super
well,
dark.
no, but
We can tailor
I
it.
want to make it as dark as we're comfortable with.
Yeah.
However, we're not here for Cult.
We're here for Starfinder. Jinx. I
You
would
owe
say
me
you owe me a
coffee.
soda, but you already got me a Fago.
Juggalo. Juice. So, in conclusion, any other notes on the system in general, or the adventure, or plans for a sequel, or anything like that?
Not really. I would like to, get some more experience with it. Before I say definitively like I do or don't, want to play it type thing.
Right.
Because this, like I said, this was my first time playing it, and it's not one of the best that I've done, but it's also not one of the worst. It was fun. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Like, it was enough to whet my appetite for it.
Right.
But it wasn't enough to get me hooked like some of the other games we played.
Right.
Like, I ran Call of Cthulhu one time and was hooked on it. We just with Cult, we did that one scenario Cult, and we're already like, I want to play more.
Mm-hmm.
D&D was the same way. The first time I ever played D&D, I was like, I love this, Cyberpunk is Doyen's favorite system.
Yeah.
And that was one session, and he was on it.
That's like the very first time you ran me through
Starfinder, I
D&D.
don't feel, at least for us, I don't feel it grabbed any of us in the way those other games have.
And it might have just been because, we just did like a super simple and
Plus, we're
dungeon
not
crawl.
used to the system at all.
Right.
Like, it's good for what it is.
Oh, yeah.
I just wouldn't consider it my personal cup of tea.
I think my main thing with it is I'm not super big into like space stuff.
Yeah, same. If I wanted to play a space-themed game, it would be Alien. It's space horror.
Yeah. My thing is the fantasy and the horror. That's why I'm so drawn to D&D and Call of Cthulhu. I enjoy Cyberpunk just not as much as the others because it's not my bread and
Cyberpunk
butter.
is more adrenaline action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know me, I prefer a storyline.
Everything I've ran for Cyberpunk has a story. But the thing with that, I'm not real big on action. Like, I don't watch a lot of action movies. But every once in a while, it's nice to be able to just say, let's blow some shit up.
Yes. And in the, those time periods, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I would love to go do a session of Cyberpunk and just fuck some shit up. But typically, if Nitro calls me up about a game, it's like, hey, I found this. This is the storyline that it is.
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
I will rarely run a game that doesn't have a good story. That's what I'm all about is, we're here to have fun, but my main reason for running these games is so I can sit here with my friends and we can collaboratively tell a great story. Because that's how we make these memories and that's how we make these videos.
It's great because it's not like he's
One
just...
more while we do our sign off.
Oh, thank you. It's not like he's just sitting here reading from a book. And
Yeah.
It's not like a point and click adventure where you have a limited number of outcomes. We are helping create how the story is gonna play out. There's no way of knowing how it's gonna end. Because even if it's
Like,
a Dimension 20 game, he knows how it ends for their group, but it may not end that way for us.
Like, I have blueprints, but anyone that has watched this channel for any length of time knows that they have a habit of pissing on my blueprints.
I think there was one time where we did the exact same thing as Brennan's group, and it blew his mind. And that was the cream corn ooze.
Yep, that was Tink.
Because when he watched that, he was like, well, there's no way they're going to do that. And then we're sitting at the table, and Tink does it, and he goes, how the fuck do we roll this?
Like, they were throwing out, I'm like, how do we adjudicate jumping up an ooze monster's butthole? And they're throwing out suggestions, and I'm just dying. I think Strife said survival. Doyen said persuade. And I think you said animal handling. And I was like,
and Tink's like athletics?
Yeah, I was like, I think it's just, it'll be an athletics to get in there, and then a con save once you're in there to not be burned.
Right.
But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So, we'll be back in 2 weeks with what?
Fantasy High Junior Year, Session 0, with somebody who hasn't been on before.
Don't make that announcement yet.
That's why I didn't say the name.
Anyone that's deaf knows what you just said.
How many deaf juggalos are watching us?
I don't know. Do you?
I wouldn't wager a lot.
Get in the comments. How many deaf juggalos are watching this?
Get in the fucking comments.
If you can read lips, tell me what she just fucking said.
I swear, if we get the comment,
It's-
it'll be JPC.
So
Shout out to JPC.
shout out to JPC.
He's a real
Shout out
one.
to all our fans, all the people that have supported us.
Shout out to the guy at the cricket store that knows us as the Juggalo people.
I want to give a big, heartfelt shout out to Humble Among. This motherfucker has pushed and promoted this channel harder than I think even us. Like, he is the number one reason we have as many subscribers as we do. And I'm grateful for every single one of them. And Humble, if you're watching this, thank you, bro. From the bottom of my heart, we fucking love you guys.
We do.
And until next time, whoop whoop.